Alright boys, welcome back to the channel. The final part of this Training Made Simple mini-series. Today we are looking at the individual training and how it is linked to episode number 3, which was match preparation. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos and you want to do in training, don't just dive into this individual training and just start clicking things, because you need everything to sink in together to get it to work properly and to maximize it as much as we can. So I would suggest go watch them 3 first, get sorted with your schedules, your match preparation, and then come back to me. Alright, for this episode. Let's get into it. Smash a like on today's video. This is the bit that I enjoy the most about training. With my Bilbao save, we can't buy play, well we can, but we haven't spent hardly anything. I think I've signed 3 players in 3 seasons, I think. We are relying on youth intake, and then not only that, but maximising the youth intake, and then making sure that these players are trained in positions and have the attributes in areas that we need to them. I've kind of set on a tactic now. We're only playing one up front, so I may need to tweak it if we have loads of good strikers coming through. I may need to tweak it and start training them in other positions and improving other attributes, so when it gets to the age where they're good enough to get into the first team, I don't have 4 strikers with me only playing 1. They can then maybe rotate and go into other areas and help us out, maybe in wide areas, or even playing as number 10s, Mazzalas, whatever. Okay, so let's get into it. Individual training, part 4 of Training Made Simple. Alright, so we're in the calendar. You have, as I've said, from episodes 2 and 3, we have put in your attacking movement, your defensive shape, and your match practice, because what we said was it improves the attributes of the individual roles. Now that basically means, what if we go into individual training, let's go to the list for now. Let's go to detailed. It is what you've got working on in here. So when you are doing those 3 sessions, they are not only just working on stuff for the up and coming game, but they are also improving and working on the roles you have set in here. Alright, now the big common thing that everyone talks about in blogs and in videos is when you go this button here, let's just click on a person I've not used yet. Okay, Raul Garcia is a perfect example. Now, if you haven't done anything, it will basically have him is in the attacking unit. It tells you that he is currently training the playing position of centre midfield, because he plays in centre midfield for us now. What he does do is play as a Mazzala, as a box-to-box midfielder. So this basically means that if you leave it, he will be training in every single midfield role. So he'll be training in the box-to-box attributes, the Mazzala attributes, the ball-winning attributes, a very broad range of attributes. And with that, you're probably not going to see a massive improvement, because if they're learning, how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What we're looking at, 14, 28, about 30, close to 40 attributes, and they're learning 30 of them in this here. It means during that time, they're trying to learn so much that the improvement in terms of attribute numbers is going to be quite small, isn't it? So what you need to do is, what I've set a couple is, let's work on Nico Serrano. Nico Serrano is my wonder kid that I'm trying to get the best out of. Now, the position, role and duty, we are training him as an advanced forward. That does not mean he is training to become better at that role. So if we go into Nico Serrano, naturally his best position based on his attributes is telling me he's an inside forward. If we go to advanced, if we go to strikers look, it says his most natural position based on his attributes is the advanced forward. Now, we're not going to generally see him get more familiar at that role. What it means is that because we're training in here, advanced forward, it is basically meaning during those 3 sessions, he is developing the attributes that the game sees is vital for advanced forward. So as you can see, it's slightly highlighted. He's working on dribbling, finishing, first touch, passing, technique, composure, decisions, anticipation, acceleration, agility, balance, pace. I'm doing this not so he becomes an advanced forward. I'm doing this so he improves these attributes. I want him to improve his dribbling, important for the position that he does. He's a ball carrier. I want him to improve his finishing. because he's our sort of like our second outlet for goals. First touch, obviously important. Passing, technique. I want him to work a little bit harder for us on the wing. Off the ball, we want to improve, obviously, his physicals. We want him pacey. Also, it does mean that if he improves on a few of these attributes, he may become a decent backup for us as well in the striking area. When we go 2 up, he generally does go as a striker. But I'm not training him to become a centre forward. I'm training him to improve these attributes here. All right, if just by example, I thought, right, I'm going to play him as a right back. Obviously, he's no good at it, but if I put their right full back on defend, that doesn't now mean that over time, I'm going to be able to improve him to become a full back on defend. It doesn't mean that if we put it as a complete wing back on attack, over time, he's going to be able to become a complete wing back on attack. You can really only do that if you start playing him in these positions. All right, you can do a little bit in training. So obviously, this here, complete back, wing back on attack. This means now Serrano in these sessions is going to be improving all these ones that are highlighted. Okay, if we want him to move him and improve just his defending, it's going to improve these ones. But it doesn't mean if I just leave it at that and keep playing him as a centre forward, he's not going to learn that role at all. It just means that he's probably going to be, well, number one, he's an attacker. He's not going to want to be interested in learning these. The players will tell you when they think their individual training is not effective. Okay? Always listen to your players. What I'm doing is I'm trying to improve him as an advanced forward, not in the role, but because of the attributes that it improves on. We're also improving his endurance. Now, this is an extra carrot. As you can see, if I put this on non-look, the advanced role sort of like attributes requires him to have decent stamina. It's currently on a what would you call that? A light green. His strength's not very good. His stamina's not very good. Let's improve his stamina and work rate. As you can see, the work rate now goes up to blue because it's been focused on more. Stamina, it's been focused on more. So you're basically getting a little bit more training in those 2 key attributes. Some will, strength's not great. If we go back onto this, strength isn't great for him either. So let's go into it. Let's find it. If you just hover over them, it does tell you what they're good at. There's your strength. Strength and jumping reach, look, not needed in the advanced role attributes. But if you click on that, it will then put them in additional for you. Okay? So, key things to remember. You can't, going in here and changing this to an advanced forward does not mean that that's going to make my man, Nico Serrano, an advanced forward. What it means is that he's going to improve in these areas which the game sees the advanced forward being key at. But he's still going to be my right midfielder. The more attributes that you have, obviously the slower they're going to improve. Now, what you can do is just you need to bear in mind, the bigger and the fancier the role, the more attributes is part of that role, and it means that probably their development and training is going to be lower. So a perfect example is, where is he? My main, Inaki. Okay? Inaki Williams. He's playing as a complete forward, okay, but I'm only getting him to improve in the areas for a poacher attack, which is finishing, first touch, heading, decisions, concentration, composure, anticipation, acceleration. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's working on 10 key areas. If I put his role, which he's currently playing in, complete forward on attack, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so his attribute growth over time is going to be smaller because he's training in more areas. This one, poacher, for me, is more focused. His finishing ain't great. His first touch and heading could be improved. Okay, technique's good. Decisions, composure need to be improved. Anticipation needs to improve. He's a winger who's kind of been... He's more of a winger, so naturally he's not the best in terms of centre-forward play. So what I'm doing is I'm training him not to be a poacher, but I'm training him in these attributes that the poacher option gives us. Okay, does that make sense? And I do that with a few. I do that with some of the centre-halves. when I do the under-19s individual training as well, because I'm looking at improving them. Let's use, where is he? Ander Ortega, one of my better young players that's coming through. Not great technically, but I've already got a plan in mind for him. I want a shithouse. I want someone who's going to kick it, head it, maybe sit in front of the back four, can do a job in here. We sometimes play with ball-winning midfielders, we play with box-to-box midfielders. He's going to be able to do that. His passing's not great. He's only 17, so that will improve over time. But at the moment, what I'm focusing on with his training is ball winning on defend. It's key in a few areas. Marking, passing, tackling, technique. So that'll be good over time for him. He's going to learn in there. But if we change this to, say, box-to-box midfield, watch how many roles it suddenly jumps to. There's another 4 or 5 different roles in there. That's going to take time away from the key attributes that I want him to learn in. I don't need to learn him to dribble. He doesn't need to learn how to finish. So try and focus your individual training on a few key areas. Let me put that back. Ball winner. Ball winning defend. He's just dribbling. I don't want him to learn how to dribble and cross, as we said, and finish. No interest in that, because he's either going to be sat in here or in here. I'm not too bothered. But I want him to maximise. We want him to be working on, obviously, his physicals. We want him to be big and strong. He is. I think, is he a big boy? Yeah, he's 6'3". So this guy is hopefully going to be a defensive beast. I've kind of got my head on him just being an absolute beast. And we're going to have technical players around him. So if we go into our under-19s, my main man, Ivan Pashesho, that we spoke about before, training with the first team, he is, I think I've got him on a more broader one. Yeah, I've got him working as a Mazzala because we use a Mazzala in our system. Now at the moment, if I hadn't have touched it, it would go back to his more natural position of attacking midfield. We're not using him in there, so I want him to start learning the attributes needed to be a midfielder on support. Get his attributes that are key for the Mazzala role improved. Alright, I'm not training him to be a Mazzala. I will do that by, number one, improving his attributes, but more importantly, when he gets his opportunity in the first team, in the B team, and also in the under-19s, because I've set my tactics. If we go into our B team, look, they're playing the same tactic as us. I will make sure that when he's playing, that he's playing in these roles here. So always make sure for your individual training as well. Okay, so over time, he's actually already a 2-star at 16, which isn't bad. But over time, he's going to be playing the Mazzala role when he was more accomplished. This here was accomplished a year ago when he first came through. He's had a year training doing the Mazzala attributes. Now, if we look on his form, if you go into his report and look at his form, look, he's actually been playing as a box-to-box midfielder. Okay, so what you can do is, what I tend to do is go into training, watch what roles they're playing in, because obviously I'm not in charge of training at the moment, and then just change it. Go into your tactics, overview, and make sure he's actually he's set to play as a deep line playmaker. Get him in there, and just play him in there. And then, as far as I'm aware, your manager for that will generally play him in that position, but he's learning the roles. But more importantly, he's training in the attributes that is key for his age. And then over the next couple of years, Pashesho is then going to progress through. Hopefully his attributes in the Mazzala role are going to be key, because I want him to be taking over for Munayin. I've got a long-term plan with this individual training. What's Munayin got? Maybe two seasons left as a top player. I'm going to have Pashesho playing in our B team for one season, and then the season after he's going to be coming in, challenging Munayin, and then with the view of 3 seasons time, when he's 19, Munayin will be 33, Pashesho becomes the main man in the side. He's worked on his attributes over time. I've given him game time as a Mazzala, so he gets to understand the role a little bit better, and then this will, even though he's already classed as natural now, the star ratings will have improved because his attributes in this area will have improved over those 3 years, because over those 3 years we've improved his attributes in the specific areas that we wanted, and then also he's been getting game time for the 19s and the B team in the Mazzala role. Alright guys, that is it. That's the individual training. I've got one last video that I'm going to maybe do, and it's going to be based around Bilbao and what I do with my youth development. I'm in a very limited position because obviously we can't sign players. I've got a lovely pathway that my under-19s. My B team are in the second tier. So I can use any players that are not quite good enough for the first team. Instead of sending them out on loan, they can be part of the club still, and they can be playing in my B team in the second tier. So I've got a brilliant little pathway. The under-19s generally boss the division, and what I tend to do is any players this year, their first season as youth players, I keep them in the 19s, and then second and third seasons I move them up. If they're not quite at it, we do have, I'm very lucky because I do have a C team that play, and I believe is like the third, is it the third tier? Yeah, who play in the third tier. If you would like to see how I'm working out the pathways and how I'm developing the players in terms of playing time and their progression and the long-term ideas I have, let me know down in the comments, because it's a part of the game that has gripped me, and then it's managed to pull me in with the training, and this is why I've done the whole training videos. So yeah, let me know if you want to see how I've developed the Bilbao pathway. Let me know down in the comments, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope the 4 episodes, as I said, take bits, take it all if you want. You can just take little snippets of each one. Remember, individual training, you can't just go into individual training and click on the button and say that you're going to improve him as an advanced forward. That doesn't mean that. It's going to improve the attributes for that role. Also, you need to make sure that you're doing match preparation, because that's where you get the extra training in. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. See you later.